What is psychological safety? Well, it is the sort of shared norms and values and in an environment where people are not fearful to speak out. Yeah. So it's a culture basically where you feel comfortable enough to challenge a leader or to put forward an idea without a fear of being shot down, without fear of being publicly humiliated, or in any shape or form being punished for whatever behavior or things you do. So psychological safety simply is a feeling of an individual feeling that you will not be shot down, humiliated, or punished for something that you say or do or challenge or bring to the table to work.
It definitely is. Very often people think it's all about goody-goody. It's actually quite the opposite. It's about having courageous conversations.
Yes.
It's about being courageous to move into, I call them curly conversations, to address the elephant in the room, because the only way through conflict is through dialogue.
Yes.
And psychological safety, though, gives us the culture and the base of, where we have trust as a base, so we can actually have courageous conversations, very much so. When we look at psychological safety and the framework that Amy Edmondson developed, you need two things in order to thrive.
Yes.
So that's kind of her framework, where she said, on the one scale here, on one axis, we need care, where we know that the leader has got our back and the peers have got our back.
Yes.
But on the other side, it can't just be goody-goody, because I never amount to anything. I never strive towards pushing myself and achieving. So I need expectation. So that's the second axis here in her framework, where we need high expectation and high care. And that would be the ideal state of psychological safety. So yes, high expectation. But if you were my employee, I'd say, Sam, I'll challenge you with this. I know it's out of your comfort zone, but I believe in you. I only do that because I have high expectation in you.
Yes.
And that's the difference.
They said, when you experience toxic culture or a toxic leader, to be more precise, and toxic leader being defined as somebody who is dishonest and doesn't have your back, throws you under the bus, doesn't give you clear goals, and it's intentionally, that's toxic. So it's not toxic unintentionally, but intentionally. It takes you probably about a year to 18 months to get yourself back into a normal state where you're not as fearful and when you're not triggered by certain situations or words and stuff. So I can say,
if you know better, you do better. So I guess when it comes to the baseline, what we need to do as leaders is be vulnerable and be ready for the uncomfortable truth that our team might not be looking at a very good state right now. So I think that's a big one too, isn't it?
But it's your inward looking will then reveal, where are your insecurities and where do you get triggered? Because there's nothing worse than you saying, well, let's all do the 360 and stuff, and then somebody challenges you in the meeting and you go into complete defensive, or somebody criticizes the company and you go into a defensive. So part of that, what you can do is actually allow people to say things without going into defensive, purely listening, and you can prepare then your responses later individually, one-on-one, rather than either in a meeting or so. That's the psychological safety, is that people know that they can say. The second one is really about a leader setting the scene, especially if you're a new leader, you're coming. That's your opportunity to reinvent yourself and to sort of start on a good note. But even if it's your old team and you're listening to this chat that Beert and I are doing today, what you can do is you can start with establishing, for example, meeting networks. And I know an amazing lady called Beert Norden who can give you some really good tools for that. She gave them to me, and they work for teams. You need to really, as a leader, honor differences in your team. So your diversity is really important. The more diverse your team, and you need to understand where people are coming from. So it's not about being goody-goody and, going over. It's just really understanding where people are coming from, where they at. And that 360, if you encourage your team to do it, they will give you that information as well.
Voice it. Voice the elephants in the room. Gosh, yes, there will be conflict. But how do we walk through it and set rules and expectations so people know what's going to come? And
100%.
right? And the more there is rules, the less there is a personal attack. I mean, how often do we first personally offended when someone says, stop talking? But if we have a rule that says, I do this, and that means you've been talking for too long.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, and then play on people's strengths. Don't give a presentation to an introvert because you will damage the person. They will not thank you for it. You will be pushing people out of the comfort zone is okay, but not really to their detriment. So, if you want to help somebody be better at public speaking and you know that they're introvert, baby steps are the place, let them present to people that they know, people in the team or something like that, and slowly build that muscle rather than, oh no, I believe in you, I'm just going to push you in front of the board and you go present. And the person is petrified, right? So and I think for me, trust is fundamental. And how do you build trust? I think we did a talk on building trust a couple of months back. So whoever is interested can look at that talk. But it's building that feeling that a person will not betray you at work. That you can trust them with information, you can trust them with your private information, you can trust them with project information, you can trust them with whatever it is, but that there is a trust between you and your leader, knowing that you are safe. So trust is about safety.
Yes.
So if you're a new leader, you may not have the knowledge, you may not even know the term psychological safety, you may not have read the literature, you doesn't know what it means, and you just think, oh well, I'm just gonna get on with it, and it's all about the tasks and it's all about the performance. And that's fine. You can learn if you're willing. You have to be open and willing to learn. The third one is kind of they don't have the tools. They're willing, but what do I do? Tell me what to do. And making it a priority is why would I? So nobody does anything without a big why. You have to start at why would I want to invest in this? So they don't know how much of an impact they have on the team that doesn't feel safe and secure.